Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 47 of the Disney Infinity and Beyond webcast presented by DisKingdom.com. It is here. We have Roger here live in the UK. We have Abe there in sunny California.
Well,
an exhausted Abe from E3, and we've also been joined by Travis in the middle of the night over there in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
I
So
love how the sun's out here and it's nighttime in New York.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock where he is right now, Rod. Middle of the night.
Yeah, it's pouring over rain in the UK, so there's a surprise. All right. So Abe, you've had a majorly busy week with E3.
Extremely, majorly busy, yeah.
So on this week's show, we are going to be talking about the new Saga starter pack and Boba Fett. We're going to be talking about the exclusive figures to the different retailers, and we're also going to be talking a little bit about the Inside Out event that Abe attended, and also E3, and Abe will be giving us a rundown of that entire event. But before we kick off, just want to give a big shout out to our Patreons this month. We've got Ethan over at sorterapps.com and magicbandcollector.com, and also another shout out to the Infinity Museum. James, big hello, big thank you for you guys for helping us out. And yep, I think that pretty much is going to kick off the show. So let's start off with the Saga Edition Boba Fett. So let's throw this one over to Abe. What do you think of this one? And you've seen Boba Fett up in person.
It's especially after having a conversation with JB and a few of the producers, it makes sense that they're going with releasing a figure for the special edition. But what I do like about it is they do make it feel like it's a collector's edition because it is exclusive for more than just 30 days like Hulk was.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, I mean, it's cool. You have your two play sets, and you have Boba Fett. Boba Fett's freaking awesome. So. Yeah,
I mean, JV has confirmed that that Boba Fett will be available as a single figure in January 2016. So, if you aren't on PlayStation and you don't want to, and you do want to wait, it will be out singly. So, it's nothing in this box is exclusive to PlayStation for too long.
Right.
And then you also get that Rise of the Empire playset, which is available a month before it's going to be out for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. What's the retail price out in the US?
I believe it was $115.
Yeah, it's coming up about £90, £105 in the UK. I know I'm waiting to head into town next. I'm going to be placing my pre-order for this. It just literally makes no sense for me not to. I'm on the PlayStation 4. So, what else do you think about this one, Abe?
Well, it's great the fact that we're getting not only a playset that's exclusive, but just overall Boba Fett in general. I did get to see a lot of gameplay with him, and he is a lot of fun. Just his new fight style, his reminiscence to the old toy. I mean, it's just cool, and obviously, instant gratification is always better than waiting. So. I think it's cool. It's a nice little idea. I mean, I am still a little bummed that we're not getting a collector's base, but hey, you can't have it all the time, so it's cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Travis?
I was fortunate enough to be live when JV was on, live online here, I should say.
Yeah.
When JV made the announcement at the PlayStation event, and almost immediately both the chat in the PlayStation live stream from E3 and my phone was right next to me while I was doing the report up for the website, and like my Twitter was exploding with all my Disney Infinity friends just going crazy. Response was overly favorable. We have a few people that are against the look of the figure, but I don't think they really understand that it's looking like the original action figure with the color scheme, which I personally find great and reminiscent of my childhood. But people are really excited. I saw gameplay at the Toy Box Live. They had Boba Fett in there, and I liked how he was playing around. I do like the fact that they have made it so certain characters. They mentioned Boba Fett, and they mentioned the Inside Out characters. They have they have different moves inside the play sets rather than the toy box. So they had to limit his flying ability in the playset because it didn't play in the playset, but they unlocked unlimited flight in the toy box mode. So I like that little idea because that means that they can do that with other figures. Limit certain things, but then unlimit it for regular toy box mode, which I don't believe they've done before.
No, well, I think the main reason they've done that with the playset, I'm looking at it. I think the playsets were designed for the characters that were for that one, and then they made the decision to do the whole cross thing. And I think they probably looked at that trying to add wall crawling and flying to some of these toy boxes wasn't going to work. So with taking it away has meant that it's basically speeded the process up. I'm not really too worried about specific powers not being available within, if it doesn't make sense. It's like it's wall crawling. If the entire toy box has to be completely rebuilt because of one character crossing over, it seems the logical step to just, if it's not really applicable, just remove it to make life a bit quicker. So I think that's more of why those powers, things like the wall crawling and the flight, have been removed, is because it messes up the whole game because for one character's ability. But I caught the recap of the PlayStation E3 conference because it was like 3 o'clock in the morning my time.
Yeah, it was some crazy time. Was...
I caught quite a few of the presentations over the few days, and that one there, when he came out, JV had so much enthusiasm for it. He really sort of sold it, but he kept sort of reiterating that point that it's a kids and family game. That's what he kept saying, because obviously he was just in front of Battlefront. He was in front of a hardcore gaming audience. It was a huge privilege for him to be able for Disney Infinity to be on that keynote speech, giving out that presentation about Disney Infinity, because there was a lot of viewers online. It's kind of one of those things, because there was such a hardcore audience watching. I think you've got some hardcore gamers that would literally just turn their nose down at anything Toys to Life, and they're just like, oh, that's for kids, and they just want to Battlefront. But I think it was a very strong move of putting that keynote speech. It was a major part of PlayStation's kind of announcements. I think the actual starter pack itself, it's kind of one of those. Oh, we've got our extra guest on today.
I think actually we're in agreement with what you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, go ahead.
I think it's whether the actual starter pack. I think it's a great set. I know I'm going to be buying, but then I'd be buying that all independently anyway.
Right. Same here.
I love the idea that I can get Rise of the Empire early. Boba Fett being 3-4 months early, a lot more sense than the Hulk did last year. And I'm going to be honest, the big base, I'm glad I haven't got another one, because it sits on top of my wardrobe, never coming out because it's too big and too ugly to kind of come out on display.
Yeah, but your wife would have liked this one.
Yeah.
She totally would have liked this one.
So I'm kind of looking at it like it's not a major. I don't view it as a major problem to me. I'm quite happy with that.
No, it's not a problem either. I mean, I'm just saying, bummer, because it is Star Wars. I mean, if you really think about it, it's Star Wars, and it would have been really cool to have something like that. But I'm going off of what you were saying though about JV. He was very well accepted though.
Very much.
In fact, a lot of people wanted him. In fact, some of the PS execs, I think he was joking around about that, but it was true, that they said maybe he should do the whole speech next time, because he was so upbeat and excited, and
he's got personality.
Yeah, he has the personality. So
yeah, and that came across really well. I just think it was overall a fantastic experience to have.
Unbelievable.
Them on the show, just doing all that introduction and just getting Disney Infinity out on the mainstream. I mean, PlayStation were, in general, they were pushing all their sort of exclusive content that they've got this year, and Disney Infinity having that is good. Now, there is obviously Xbox and Wii owners that are kind of going, well, we can't get it. Why aren't we doing it early? I can see why, in some ways, to try and do 2 different SKUs of different starter packs for every single brand is just too much. And also, PlayStation paid the money to have an exclusive item, and this is basically, and again, it's just timed exclusive, nothing long term.
Well, JV did mention that they did approach Nintendo and Microsoft, and unfortunately, they just didn't have that availability for that. So
yeah, I'm guessing
PlayStation's like, hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, I'm guessing Nintendo had their other big sleeve up, the big thing item up their sleeve with those Skylander amiibo crossovers that they didn't really feel the need to do anything this year. That's my
And Xbox
gut.
didn't say zip about anything Disney Infinity, which was I found interesting at their event.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing if they knew that Disney were a part of their show, they wouldn't be doing any announcements for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else you guys want to add on that Saga starter set before we move on to our next subject? Nope.
I mean, mad props to JV for a great performance. I mean, last year at Sony PlayStation, one of the executives from Sony and was the one that announced the collector's edition very briefly. But to have JV up there for 3.5 minutes, he said it was great. It was an honor to JV, and he was honestly. I sat through almost 2 hours of stuff that I could not care less about. Unfortunately, I'm not a really hardcore gamer, and a lot of the executives probably didn't really help out the fact that they were lacking in personality. So they presented these things, and it's like, well, okay. And then JV came out, and it just made everything that energy just carried the rest of the show through. So, which was only like one or two more things after that, but still.
Okay, I think that's pretty much gonna wrap up that one. I think I think that was definitely the major news out of the event. Okay. Right, on to our next subject, which is going to be we're going to be talking something about some of these exclusive figures that are coming out for Disney Infinity 3.0. Now, we say exclusive. Now, this comes under timed exclusives. They are only going to be available at each retailer in the US has got a single figure that they are going to have for a limited time only as timed. Once that becomes available, it will be available everywhere. So I'll just quickly go through them all. And I've made a note here because there's 6 of them altogether. We have Mulan is at Best Buy. Fear is at Amazon. Sabine is at Target. Zeb is at GameStop. Canon is at Walmart. And Ezra is at Toys R Us. Yes, okay. So somebody's already got this Target.
Thank you, Abe. Thank you. Yes.
So
but you don't need to go to Target, Abe. Thank you.
I'm sorry, this doesn't say Target on it, so I'm just wondering what the hell you guys are talking about.
They are just, like we said, they're only timed exclusives, so they're not going to be long-term things. I think this is their way of getting around the exclusive thing for each retailer. It's interesting to see the Rebels have got this happen. And it's funny, here in the UK, we haven't seen anything of the Rebels pre-orders yet. But also, Fear is going to be... because these are exclusive to Amazon for a limited time, they are doing a special bundle pack where you can get the play set and the 3 figures all in one. But they, so what do you think of this? So I'm going to throw this one over to Abe first.
Oh, it makes sense. I mean, because I do feel like these figures will have more popularity, and spreading the love as far as the exclusivity to the retailers kind of, makes them happy at the same time. And it makes sense because all the other toys like to do that type of thing, exclusivity. Like Skylanders has their Nitro series with Target, and then you have Amiibo who has retailer exclusives. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lego do something similar with Dimensions. So it just kind of makes sense. But the cool thing about these exclusives are they're just timed. So it's nothing like a figure that we won't get to see later on, available for everybody. So.
Okay, Travis, your thoughts?
I do like they mentioned in the live stream on Friday that that this was twofold. It served the purpose of giving loyal retailers a chance to have something exclusive to them without being totally exclusive. But it also lets them get around their release schedule, because they actually have a very timed release schedule as far as figures. And this actually helps them put characters out early for characters. People can't look at it as characters are coming out later elsewhere. They're just coming out early in some places, and this is just a way for them to get characters out early for people. It's not like they're punishing the other retailers. They're just giving a leg up to these retailers.
But also, I mean, I'm looking at that as well, that because each of the major retailers has their own figure, it's less of like, well, we haven't got the other, and also, but there's other thought as well. It means that there might be a lot less space on that shelf at that time for all the different figures, because now there's going to be 6 figures missing from the stores. Pretty much, you're going to have 5 figures are going to be missing from that initial. If this is all launch items, they're all going to be missing from each retailer, so it takes up less space. But they've all got a little special kind of, or you can only get this one here. So it can make sense. Luckily, the UK doesn't look to be following suit with this, but there's no rebels yet. Because I must admit, I think if it would happen here, I'd have to place so many pre-orders with different suppliers, and it'll be like when the mailman comes on launch day with all these big parcels from different retailers. And also, if you have to pay shipping for each one on top because that's the only thing you've ordered, I can see why that could be an issue. Have you guys placed your pre-orders yet?
Negative.
I have no idea exactly what I'm gonna do. I want to get I want Fear, first day, so I might do the Amazon, but I might not. I don't know. The one that confuses me the most is Fear, because they're saying that Fear would have been, if I'm going by what they're saying, Fear would have been delayed from the playset, and I'm like, well, you just told me that for the most part, Fear was needed in the playset to get through some places. But now they're saying that you can do a costume change for 30 seconds in game or something. So it's all confusing to me. But I'm gonna try to wait until I have more information, especially what the launch date is, which hopefully they'll announce soon, before I start placing my pre-orders elsewhere. So
I'm gonna be. For my strategy this year will literally be order the starter pack and probably the Inside Out playset at my local game store, which I'll pick up on the day, and everything else I'll order online to save some money because it all adds up. But yeah, I'm going to be spreading out my orders between different suppliers, because sometimes if you put all your eggs into one basket and it's late, you're sat there just by the door just going, where is it? And I don't want to be doing that again like I did last year.
I know that all too well.
Yes.
All too well.
Anything else you want to add on these subjects, guys? Nope. Okay.
I'm looking forward to these characters. Oh, the one thing I will say outright, where is Hera? I personally am not very happy that they didn't include her, at least in the first round of characters, because I think she's really popular in Star Wars Rebels, but that's just...
Yeah, I've got the official kind of wait and see, because can
I add something to that? And I just don't. I don't want to I'm not trying to flaunt my figures or anything. I'm
not trying to show off how many figures I got at E3. No, not at all.
I just want to point something out. The fact that they're being really strategic and smart on how they are really marketing their stuff, because if you guys can sort of see this here, you can basically count. There's a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 figures on the back of this box. But then, if you look at this one, you have 15. Yes. And it includes a different amount. Therefore, they're changing the way the back is showing figures. Therefore, could that mean they're going to start in waves including them? Because if you notice that in either one of these, you do not have any of the Episode 7 guys. No. So clearly, they can definitely modify the pictures they start putting up in their packaging. So
they did that last year with Captain Mark, or not with Falcon and what's his name?
Yondu.
Yondu, yeah. They weren't in the original picture on the initial launch.
So anything
was
could
that
change. Basically. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Because I'm also with these pre-orders. Darth Maul isn't coming up on any of the pre-orders at the minute. I don't know if he's held back a little bit.
I heard he's a delayed. My last rumor was delayed a month because He's not necessarily usable in the beginning of Twilight of the Republic until you unlock him, so they don't want him out yet.
This one was the media exclusive. You know the big bag of figures that JB said he was going to give me in the interview. Yeah. This is my big bag right here, which I'm totally happy with, by the way.
Oh yeah, because I've got to admit, he's actually
he was the media exclusive, basically.
Yeah,
that's what he meant by that.
The one figure that really does just shout to me to use, because I've always loved that character.
Yeah, they basically were doing it differently this year at E3. They before they weren't giving him out, but Venom sort of. The special guest got the Venom. Well, this is what the special guest got this time. So.
John, you're special.
Yeah. I guess I am special. Hey, dude, honestly, I went after that interview was over. I told him I don't need any figures. Thank you so much, and he still gave it to me anyway. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Right. Okay. So let's move on to our next subject. Okay, so our next subject is going to be a little bit, again, from something that came through on E3. Just quickly, was Backwards Compatibility was announced by Xbox for Xbox One for 360 games. They announced, I think there's going to be about 15 games available to premium members now, and there'll be 100 games, I think, available on Backwards Compatible by the end of the year. They put up on the website games that people can vote on for which ones they want to see added to this new list, because not all games are automatically doing it. It's down to the publishers. I think Red Dead Redemption is number one with I think last time I looked it was 30,000 votes or something. Well, Disney Infinity were on the list, and they were about 100 votes, so they were a little bit short of the of the number needed. And then I tweeted out that link, and a few other people tweeted it, and within about a day that it was sort of deleted. Now it's literally just reads deleted. I think one of the things that came out from the afterwards was that it uses a peripheral, like in our instance the base. It's one reason why they can't do it. But I know Abe, you got to speak to sort of JV about this, and just to say that your microphone is off. There
JV,
yeah. So what did JV say about this?
Well, it's just something that they continuously talk about during their meetings. I mean, it keeps being thrown on the floor. It's something that they want to do, but at this point, the priority is definitely on releasing new content, and that's something that he said even before the interview that we had. I just figured it would be smart to bring it up, especially since Xbox announced the whole backwards compatibility. But he did say, it's still fresh, it's still new. I mean, this is news to them as well, so it's something they have to talk about. And he did say, bring it up again next time we speak. So it's obviously something that's still something that they need to discuss, basically, especially since Xbox is doing this now. So
yeah, but I mean, also it's been brought up quite a few times about bringing 1.0 to next gen, because for me, I'm on next gen now. I sold my PlayStation 3. I haven't got access to those playsets. If you're on the Wii U or the PS3, you're fine. You can still whack the disc in. But there's a lot of people requesting it. Now with this backwards compatibility thing, it's a bit of an upfront. If Disney were to do it, it has to make financial sense. I personally don't get this whole thing of the backwards thing being why it's such a big deal. Once I've got a PlayStation 4, I don't really want to go back and tend to play older games. I got the new Batman Arkham Knight. I don't want to go back and play, Arkham, the original one from 2 years ago.
2 days.
Oh yeah. Well, I got it. They sent it to. I got it a few days early.
Lucky you.
I've been enjoying it the last few nights.
Now I'm gonna do this.
I got a lovely bottle of water.
But I think it's that thing with this backwards compatibility. PlayStation have pretty much come out and said that it's something that they're not interested in. They're bringing in this new PS Now thing for them to do it. They want to charge people to use it. I think it's one of those things of, I think even from X points, I'm looking at going, well, if you're only announcing 15 games and everyone's got to opt in or opt out, it's not a truly backwards compatible, because if you have to go find a website and see if it's compatible or not, then it's not fully, you can't, it's not like, for example, with Disney Infinity, you have a figure, you put it on, it works. That is built into the game from here on out. This seems like it's been done through the back door. Travis, you want to throw in any thoughts you've got on this backwards compatibility?
I wish people would stop complaining about it. I'm just, Roger. You're going how that Red Redemption, whatever it was, X amount of votes, and Disney Infinity was at 100.
Yeah.
There is a small percentage of very passionate people, and I guess I applaud their passion for getting 1.0 back into the the next gen, and I understand that Disney Infinity wants to, but personally, looking at it as a gamer and a collector of these toys, I do not want them to put money into bringing them forward if it takes away from the amount of playsets or characters I'm going to get in future incarnations of the game. I can't see them. I wouldn't want them to put that money in there if it's going to mean I'm not going to get my Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, Abe, I'll let you throw in on that one.
I was gonna say.
He heard Darkwing Duck, so.
Yeah, Darkwing Duck, and I'm like, what? Okay. No, ultimately, if you're a diehard fan of the game, and I'm not putting you on the spot here, Roger, I'm just calling out everybody else. But if you're a diehard fan of the game, you basically will keep your system and play your game. You know what I mean? I get it. I mean, if you have new gen and you want to be able to have the luxury of being able to play your older games in a new system, I get that. But if you really are a diehard of your game, then keep your system. I mean, I still have my 360, and I love my 1.0 playsets, but I haven't revisited them. Yeah. And I love the option on my PS4, yeah, but that's a luxury. I don't really need to. If I really want to go replay them, I will. So.
I think for me, I'm looking. I'm not looking at this personally for me because I'm pretty much the same. Once the new playsets come out, I'm not really going to be going back into the old ones. But it would be nice to have them there if I could plot them there. I think there's a lot of people that look at that game set piece and they want that forward compatibility themselves. They want, they think that game can carry on. When 3.0 comes out, all the previous 9 playsets should be able to play in it because I don't think it's a thing of not understanding the physical requirements that 3.0 is too big to include the previous games. They just don't have enough space. While we are still restricted with a physical disc system, we cannot go down the fully fledged Disney Infinity platform that we talked about, of having new figures come out randomly and new playsets come out randomly while we're still stuck on this physical media. It's just not possible yet. For them to fit in all these playsets onto one disc is just impossible. It's just not got. They can't do it, and they've been very vocal about that.
Yeah. I also look at as a point of reference with time. As being an adult with a full-time job, 2.0, I had a hard enough time finishing or completing 3 playsets and 2 toy box game discs. And Abe can attest that I have yet to even finish all that. Now we're looking at 5 playsets at least. They were hinting at maybe even more.
Yeah.
And then at least 2 toy box expansion games. And then how many characters? Yeah, thank you. Do you have those 2, Abe?
Well, let me go ahead. No, I wish.
No, but time-wise, I mean, I don't have time to even go back to when 3.0 comes out. I'm gonna be hard-pressed enough to go back to 2.0, let alone hooking my 360 back up and going back to 1.0.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Yeah, I must admit, it's like for me, I'm looking at like this winter, and I'm thinking, I've got 3.0, Lego Avengers, Battlefront.
There you go.
That's gonna keep me going. It's gonna keep me going.
Wow.
That's not including other games that I like the look of, like Hitman and Assassin's Creed and other games.
Don't need that.
Nope.
Battlefront's gonna take over all my life.
Yep, trust me. Don't need anything else. I'm canceling my Batman because, yeah. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah, okay.
We'll talk about that later.
So we.
What was that other figure that you had there, Abe? You showing me another figure?
Oh, this one? Yeah, this was Boba Fett. Well, I'm just kidding. It's still Sabine. I wish it was Boba Fett. No,
Right.
it's,
Okay, so we
it's
are
just
now
Sidious.
going to
He's
discuss the
same
Inside
too.
Out.
Sadness.
event.
Oh, sadness.
Okay, so Abe, so let's throw this one straight over to you. You went to a special event for Disney last week for the Inside Out premiere. Okay, throwing it completely over to you. You can now discuss the event, what it was like, what did you see, etc.
Oh, Travis, I love Bing Bong. Good job. Um, well, Disney Infinity had put on a special event for fans to see an early screening of Inside Out, and that was basically Monday before this past Friday, and it was at the El Capitan Theater, which is also cool, old school theater. Sucks for us 21st century, whatever century people, because we're a lot bigger than people back then, so the seats are like nice and cozy. But anyways, we got to go, and they had the Inside Out playset demoing there.
Mm-hmm.
They had a couple of stations. Got to chat with Allison for a while. Scott was there. It was a cool little event, and so we got to go see the movie, and awesome. Just by far my favorite Pixar film for sure. And and it's without a doubt, yeah, without a doubt, probably in my opinion, the best Pixar film ever made. But anyways, it was fun, and then they brought up a couple people. They gave us a presentation. It was Allison and I forget the other lady's name because I haven't really seen her as much. But they told us, basically they gave all the parents there and everything the spiel of how Disney Infinity works and the price point, and that they were the highest selling Toys of Life category with 2.0. Just going into that detail. And then Allison got to talk about the Inside Out playset and just told us about the story behind it. And they brought up a dad and his kid, and they gave them a free Sadness figure because they were the first ones to wait in line.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, Allison pulled out this guy right here. And what we thought, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, okay, she's probably gonna ask somebody trivia and give it to them. And no, they ended up handing one of these to absolutely every person there. Well, it was one per family.
Mm-hmm.
So every group of people that came got a free play set, which I was blown away. The fact that this year how generous Disney Infinity has been. I mean, they were giving away play sets, giving away figures, obviously. I think JV also gave away a PlayStation and a full set of figures to the fan. I mean, it was crazy, the generosity this year. But anyways, no, the event was cool. I mean, we got free popcorn, free soda. I mean, everything was just all. Oh, and even our parking was completely.
I don't know. So you went to see a movie on the week before it got released. They gave you popcorn. They gave you soda. They paid for your parking. They gave you a playset. Sounds like a pretty cool night out.
And I spoke to Allison for a while.
Where can I sign up?
Scott was up there. He was awesome. I mean, everybody was cool. It was a cool event. It was fun.
Did you get to play Inside Out as well?
Yep, I played a little bit. And again, this playset, Avalanche has done it again because the same feeling I had playing a playset for the first time in 1.0. Kind of felt it with this one because again it's different it's different gameplay. I mean, you have your 3D aspect of it, but all of a sudden you go into platforming and it almost feels like a completely different game. But it's a lot of fun. It's really fun.
No, that's pretty cool. I think anything else you want to add on that?
No, I mean basically if whenever Disney Infinity tweets something about free event in your local, just do it because honestly, it's worth it. I mean, you definitely come out winning for sure. But
you saw the movie.
Cool event.
What was that?
You've seen the movie as well, haven't you?
Yes, I had to pay for my ticket. I saw the inside. I saw the Inside Out Insider Access event, which was a live stream Tuesday night, and it was pretty cool. Before the movie started, Pete Docter and someone else that was in on the movie gave you a behind-the-scenes tour of the Pixar studios, and then they showed Lava, which was the short before Inside Out, which was awesome, by the way. And I'm hoping that maybe it appears as the lava, the volcanoes that are in it appear as maybe power discs.
Ooh, that
possibly.
would be cool.
That would be pretty cool. And then the movie,
like a sky, right?
Yeah, like a sky dome, or yeah. And then the movie itself was amazing. The voice talent that they got to do it. I mean, anybody from the Five Emotions to Richard Kind, who did Bing Bong, to
Team Bing Bong.
Yeah, Team Bing Bong. And then they had even the security. There's two subconscious guards, and they're right here. I got the Hot Topic exclusive pieces. I don't know if you guys can see them, but those are subconscious guards, Frank and Dave, and they're
If you look under their hat, it says "My Hat" on it.
It does? Anyways, they're voiced by Frank Oz and Dave Goelz from Muppets Stardom, and we know that Frank Oz is Yoda also. So it just was a good, the whole thing was good. And then afterwards they had a live Q&A from Australia with Amy Poehler and Pete Docter, who's the director. And Amy played Joy, and they did some really nice question and answer sessions, and it was a all-around great event. We also got an exclusive poster, which is a pretty cool. I love the look of the characters that they did. The kind of like block art characters, and we also got a special lanyard, which I have laying around somewhere. But it was a great event. I agree with Abe. Inside Out is a great movie, probably the best. It shattered their expectations for the box office this weekend. It did over 90 million, and they were projecting 60. And
they beat the Dinos, right?
It did not beat the Dinos.
Oh, I thought it did.
Yeah, unfortunately, it did not beat the Jurassic World this week, but it actually broke the highest grossing opening weekend for a non-sequel franchise film. So it previously set by Avatar, the first Avatar, at 77 million. So it broke a lot of records itself. It's the second top-grossing Pixar film behind Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a great movie. People should go out and see it. I plan on seeing it at least one more time. I have friends that want to go see it again. So,
unfortunately in the UK it's not out till July. So I've literally got my tickets here ready to go and do it. But also I was going to throw this back to now you two guys have seen the play sets or seen the movie. Do the figures in the play set appeal to you more now that you've seen the movie? So I throw that over to Abe first.
Does the place appeal to me more? Well,
now you've seen the movie, does it make more sense?
No, does it make more sense? I mean, it still made sense before, for me at least. But the thing that I guess this question kind of throws me off a little bit. I mean, the playset is supposed to be a sequel anyway, so if you don't see the movie, I mean, it's gonna take you a few rounds in the playset to understand what's going on. But to be honest with you, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's just 5 different emotions, and
but also I was thinking more like like last year when we had the Big Hero 6 characters when they came out. Before the movie came out, we didn't really, and it's the same with Frozen. There was a lot of people were like, well, why are these characters in the movie? Why are they in the game? Doesn't make any sense. I don't know anything about them. Once the movie comes out, everybody's opinions change. So now you've seen the movie, does that make the figures that much more attractive to you?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, the movie was amazing, and yeah, I mean, to want to play these, definitely. I think I get your question because we had a lot of people complaining about why are they making a Big Hero 6 figures if we don't like them because they don't even know. But once they see the movie, they're like, oh my god, I love Baymax. I love here. Where are my other three? No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get a little bit more of an appreciation for them being part of the Disney originals. But I guess I would be, like I said before, I would be probably the wrong person to ask that because I was still pretty loyal to them in the first place anyway. So.
Yeah. Travis, is that the same for you?
Yeah, I really can't. I as soon as I heard the voice cast for this movie and I saw the first trailer for the movie, I was immediately hooked. And when I found out that Disney Infinity was including all 5 in there, it had me stoked. And then when I heard that the gameplay, the playset is unique and something they've never done before, and then I just saw at the Toy Box Live stream on Friday some initial gameplay on the first level. It's my type of game.
Yeah.
The fact that you have to go collect things, you have to go find things, you can replay the level and beat your own score. You have things. It reminds me of levels in Skylanders where there are certain things that you have to achieve, and if you don't achieve it, then you can go back and do it again. And I really appreciate that type of gameplay because I'm that anal retentive, maybe? I don't know. But I like checking things off. However, the one thing I did want to mention, and JV said it, I think, this morning, Abe and I were talking about it, Bing Bong, originally JV said Bing Bong, who plays a big part in the movie, was not in the Inside Out, but then he said he is, so I'm assuming he's in there as far as an NPC, a mission giver maybe.
Yeah.
But I would love to see Bing Bong as a character. I don't see how he could be a character in the playset, but maybe a Toy Box character down the road. I wish they put more emphasis on him because that character made that movie that much better, in my opinion.
I was gonna say, if I can piggyback off of that, like hopefully Bing Bong does play the part of a Yondu figure, in the sense where they decide to add him last minute, because that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. To me, I am literally looking at this as the Green Goblin Loki effect. It's literally probably going to be a character we see come out.
Hopefully.
If that was a guess, that would be my guess. I just think if they think there's money to be made from a Bing Bong figure, he could be added later as a villain. Kind of, I don't know what he is, but that's how I'm looking at him.
Yeah, you'll love him. You'll definitely love him. Yeah. He's worth it enough to make you cry. Anyways, what I was gonna say, I don't think that question was kind of fair for both Travis and me, because now that Travis was even talking, I kind of remember that I've loved these guys since D23, and that was 2013. So.
Abe and I have been geeking out on this movie coming out for months.
Yeah. Well, I must admit, all I've had this weekend was playing the new Fort Bubble game on my app, and I love that. So I'm pretty much ready to roll. Right, so I'll let you put up the images there again of the play set that he's lucky enough to got.
Already. I want to open it already. I gotta do an unboxing video before.
Yes. Right. Okay. So I think we're done on Inside Out. So now we are going to move on to the big one. Okay. So let's now talk about E3 and Abe. Let's throw that one straight over there. You were at the event for us. You were reporting back. Done a fantastic job in doing loads of stories for us, loads of videos, loads of interviews. You're absolutely exhausted. How was E3 for you?
I'm exhausted. Basically, it was... I think this was probably one of my favorite E3s I've ever experienced in my life. I guess the whole JV interview had a lot to do with it too, because just his energy alone, but yeah. Anyways, E3 in general was awesome. It was definitely very overwhelming. It was very exhausting because I was trying to. I had 3 different cameras. I was taking pictures, taking video. I had the GoPro trying to do a whole booth tour thing. Then I tried to live tweet with Periscope, which I guess unfortunately was a little pixelated for a lot of people. But I guess I figured it out later on that the Wi-Fi in there for media access kind of was not working for a lot of media, which made a lot of people pissed off. But anyways,
I will admit that was a great Periscope video. I was on there live watching it. It just happened to be just purely by chance that I picked up my phone just as you started it. So I watched your entire tour and your interviews, with Sully and it was great to be able to feel like you were part of it by watching it, someone live and interacting. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, so I mean, I tried to replicate it a little bit with the GoPro. I mean, I didn't have that many guests talking to me there afterwards, but still, I mean, I just try to do as much as I can for everybody there. The booth was beautiful this year. I mean, compared to the past couple times, it's getting bigger every year. But this year, the figure line was long. I mean, Sabine was definitely a 4.5-hour trek. But definitely worth it. They had this cool interactive experience where it puts you immersed into a video. You pick whichever character you wanted to. I picked Darth Vader, of course. That was like a no-brainer. And they take your picture. You swing a lightsaber around at a green screen, and they put you in a video, and they send you the video and the picture online. Then they give you the figure. So it was kind of cool. The art exhibit was phenomenal. Britt did a great job coordinating that whole thing. They had a total of 6,000 power discs strung up and displayed in this awesome little wall. I was talking to Tyler about it, and he said that it took the lady who was in charge of making that. It took her about 4 days straight to open up all those power disc packs. So it was a huge labor of love, and then just to be able to see the prototype figures there, because nobody gets to see those in exhibit, and for us to finally get to see them, it was pretty phenomenal. One of them that I really loved was one of those 3D printed ones that they have, which is Rapunzel, because you can still see some of that plastic. No, but it was overall cool. I mean, the actual playing stations were awesome. The press area was private. It was big. Then they had this hall connected to it that had 5 screen grabs of like 5 popular playsets, and then 5 little profile pictures of all the Toy Box mentors that were hired into the company. I mean, there was just so much to that booth. It was pretty impressive. And then overall, the whole event, it was great. I got to see a demonstration of Lego Dimensions. No giveaways, which was interesting. But they usually a lot of people take advantage of the swag. But the Lego Dimensions looks promising. To me, after the demo, I mean, some people were excited. I was a little confused, and I also see it's going to be a lot of work. I'm the type of guy that likes to set my figure on the base, sit back, and play. Lego Dimensions is going to require you to move your figures all over the place and make sure that you coordinate which figure goes in what spot to work. So I don't know. I'm still skeptical. I was kind of impressed a little bit. I was talking it down, but Skylanders is definitely a better contender this year, as in my opinion, than Trap Team. The cool thing about these new vehicles is the cars actually do roll like actual toys, so that was a cool little aspect to them. The amiibo in integration with both Bowser and Donkey Kong, it's both interesting and also kind of smart at the same time, because not only will you have 2 different types of gameplay because you have Skylanders and amiibo, but you also have
a strategic
Yeah, exactly. It's a smart strategic move. You have Bowser exclusive to the 3DS, and then you have Donkey Kong exclusive to the Wii U. So for all those diehard amiibo fans, you're gonna have to buy 2 starter packs. But overall,
such a cash grab. Oh my god.
Oh, definitely. But the technology in that figure is impressive, though, because all you do is twist the bottom, and it becomes a Skylander, and twist it right back, it becomes an amiibo. So it's kind of cool. Then
that's the cool thing, because at least like this year, already now you've seen the 4 different Toys to Life categories, and you've been able to play them and compare them, and sort of I think that's what there was a lot of Toys to Life stuff at E3, wasn't there?
Yeah, the amiibos, they had a lot of new ones on display. I did get to play. I chose to play one of them because the demos were ridiculously long. Like
Mm.
the game demo that I lined up for was 15 minutes long per person, so it's like I'm sitting there for a while. But I played the Yoshi one, the one the
Oh yeah,
amiibos that are
yeah.
yarn, and that game's fun. But it plays just like any Yoshi game. To be
Mm.
honest with you, I honestly still, even though this artificial shortage that Nintendo has with amiibos are making it popular, I still feel like they're the most useless Toys to Life figures there are out there. So, regardless of Skylanders and amiibo teaming up, they're going to have more use as Skylanders than they are going to have use as
Mm.
amiibos. So at least they did those two characters
Yeah.
justice in a way.
I think you can use some of them in the new Mario Maker game, but generally, yeah, I think the general reaction to Nintendo's E3 presence has been a bit sort of reading through lots of different articles over the last few days. It's been a very hit and miss. Some people liking what they've done. They kind of opt in, but they opted out, and it kind of sent off all wrong signals. And because basically Sony and Microsoft went in all for leather and just literally bombarded it.
Yeah, I mean, Mario Maker looks promising. Don't get me wrong; it looks cool, but again, it still plays safe to me.
Mm.
The new Star Fox looks impressive, but it's nothing new that we haven't seen. To be
It's very
honest with you,
retro. It's all very retro and safe.
yeah, yeah. If anything, I wanted to see something from Nintendo next, but there was really nothing at all. And Splatoon just came out, which I understand, but I still would have appreciated seeing something to do with Splatoon there, and all you saw was just the old amiibo just standing
Yeah.
there. So, but
So, as far as Infinity, what did you get to play?
everything. I tried to play everything. I think the Rise Against place that I didn't get to play, but I got to watch a lot of gameplay, which was cool. Mostly Boba Fett. But I wanted to try most of the toy box stuff, like for example Speedway, which I am in love with. Um, I got to race on the Sugar Rush track
Hmm.
and the Nightmare Before Christmas track, and no joke. It's cool. It's just like they said in the Game Informer. Like every lap, something new is happening, something else. Like there's a story being told while you race, which is kind of cool. I also, by accident, which I got lucky, got to see the Monsters Inc. racetrack, and this was the one that Sumo fought for to keep in the game. And just the animation, the graphics is just phenomenal. The racing is tighter. The weapon system is great. The new weapons in there. I mean, I got to experience almost everything, like my car being turned into Mickey's Jalopy, or being hit by one of their version of the blue shell, and like from Mario Kart. So
Yeah.
it was
The
fun.
racing is really improved, and
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's not even just in that expansion game. In the toy box, if you put a track down, you can feel the difference in the racing. It's
I'm
phenomenal.
really excited about it because I love the racing element of His Infinity.
Right. I got to play the Villains Takeover, or the Toy Box Takeover, since it
Hmm.
changed names. And it's cool. It's definitely it's a little familiar from obviously the previous Toy Box game disc, but it's definitely cleaner, definitely better. You have boss battles. Like I got to play the first level, and it was more like a pirates level type of thing. And the first boss was Davy Jones.
Mm.
And one thing that you did notice is that the boss is relatively larger. So if you were playing with the actual Davy Jones, you can totally see the difference between the two.
Yeah.
So it was more so like an artificial larger boss. So,
Mm.
but it's fun. You definitely have a lot more integration, and with your sidekick. Your sidekick has more integration to the game. Like he has a lot more to do, like become a cannonball for yourself and blow through walls, or assist you with killing villains and whatnot. But the cool thing that I got to experience as well, which kind of ties into that a little bit, is farming in the hub.
Hmm.
I wanted to see the El Capitan Theater and the Flynn Theater. The Flynn Arcade, and but mostly I wanted to see the farming. And I got a little tutorial. It was pretty interesting. Just the amount of crops that they have. Um, it's a cool little aspect. It's going to keep you wanting to come back into the game and making sure that you get rid of the weeds, and you prepped your sidekicks for growing crops, and you give them certain hats, give them special abilities, and you feed them, making them happy. You can't cheat and like overfeed. I mean, you can only feed them when they're hungry. So it's a cool new aspect in the game, and I'm kind of excited for it.
Kind of appeals more to, like, I'd definitely say that kind of sounds more like mobile gaming. You know, I know, like with like Star Wars Commander, where you have to keep going back in all the time. It keeps drawing you back in. Do you think it's kind of got that aspect to it?
Sort of. I think the only difference to that is like I kind of feel like I really want to, though, because I want my sidekick to be better.
Yeah.
Because this does affect their attributes, their skills, and their fighting in the game, so that it kind of does give them purpose. So if you're saying is it Farmville, I can see how it can be Farmville, but then again, it's kind of unfair because you grow crops in Farmville, so that's why it's the same here. But no, it's definitely better. It's cool. I mean, the animation. I mean, just when you feed one of your sidekicks, it's kind of funny how they eat. I mean, there's just a lot of cool things with farming. But what else did I play? I mean, I just
you played the 2 playsets.
I played obviously I played the Inside Out one already. I played a little bit of Twilight. I didn't, like I said, I didn't play Rise. And Twilight's cool. The combat system is phenomenal. It took me a second to get used to waiting for the lightsaber to flash a little bit, because like the combo system now, it's like it's not just button smashing. It's like button, and then like stopping, waiting for it, and hitting it. So it's like timed. And the combos are different. The combos are always different. It's really cool. Each character has something unique to offer. Like who was I playing originally? I think it was Kanan first, because I wanted to see if I can do that combo where you throw him up and then he blasts them. I still need to get used to it, so I wasn't able to do it. But still, I mean, their ability and their way of integrating special moves and attacks for each character is kind of phenomenal. Like a lot of people thought like this is all going to be the same because everybody swings lightsabers, but no, it's by far pretty unique to each one. So.
Okay, anything else from that E3 event? I mean, you got to speak to John Vignocchi. How did that interview go for you? And you can find that on the YouTube channel as well. Maybe a link.
Man, what a privilege. I mean, it took forever to I definitely had a set time, and it just didn't work out. And luckily, the PR guys there are awesome. I mean, I give mad props to Brian for making it happen. And basically, what ended up happening was it was supposed to be JV and John Blackburn talking to a bunch of media outlets, and he was able to split them. And it was just JV in this room with me and pushing back the Wall Street Journal a little bit just so he can talk to us. And no, I mean, you guys got to see in that video that he cares about the community, and that's what it's all about to him. So.
And you got a bro hug.
Yeah, and I got my bro hug. And my Darth Maul.
JV bro hugs are the greatest.
Yeah, you can see how happy he was. I mean, it's just a cool guy. No, the interview was phenomenal, as you guys can tell. I mean, obviously I was a little nervous at first, but it was more so just like thankful because I wanted to get this interview, and I did. And
I mean, I was to say, just watching the interview back, it was quite, it was quite interesting because it was so much more laid back, and just I think because of we know about, and our audience primarily knows a lot of the basics of being able to talk about some of the things that they've asked and stuff. Just seemed it was just a very interesting interview because it did seem a lot more laid back than some of the other ones I've seen from E3.
I think he was able to relax with us because he knew we weren't going to ask him the those badgering questions that the media, the snobs, ask. Like they know these were questions being asked by true fans, by actual people who are interested in him as opposed to in what he does and in this game, And I think it spoke a lot through his body language and obviously the way that the interview went. So
you didn't do your evil journalist approach.
Oh no! I even had a question I was going to ask him, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I was going to ask him, out of all the figures that weren't announced, which one was his favorite. Dude, but I didn't do that, obviously. But no, overall, like just the experience was
Yeah.
phenomenal. Like I said, it was such a privilege to get to talk to him. So
But also, looking, this is just feeding back off that because, like now, we're watching things like Toy Box TV Live, and the crew are all, the guys are all coming in and off, and they're talking and stuff. And so now, when you're talking about like Tyler and Emily and Sully and all these other Allison, all these other characters, it's not just like I said, Davey and Allison like it's been in the previous years. They've now got all these other sort of people that we see on these Toy Box TV Live. So when you got to interview them stuff, we know them all a little bit more now because of Toy Box TV Live.
yeah, absolutely. No, like I literally must have had like, yeah, I spoke to Allison for what, like more than 30 minutes. I spoke to Tyler for probably another half hour. I mean, I spoke to Scott. Scott was the one that gave me the private media tour. Like, I mean, it's like these people that are just part of the community. You put a face to them, and
yeah,
you just, I don't know, they appreciate us. So
Oh,
I figured,
cool.
might as well just keep the same respect. And
Right.
but yeah,
No,
E3.
cool. Yeah, I must admit, I was following loads of live streams, living through you, through every other website. I've read so much and watched so many videos and live streams. So I'm going to throw this one over to Travis. What were your impressions of E3 in general, of what you saw from your end?
Well, before I get into my impressions, I do want to piggyback off of the characters that we're learning through Toy Box TV Live. The first person I met for Disney Infinity, before even JV back in 2013, was what we now know as Brit. Brittany was manning this little tiny, I think it was 7 or 8 console testing station out in the middle of a field in Chicago on a hot summer day, and that's where I also met JV for the first time. But it was just, it's great knowing that people like that are still with the company after all these years, and props to her for putting together that amazing looking booth. I've seen pictures, and it's just to go from what I saw in 2012, at that Taste of Chicago event where it was just a thrown together event, and then something like that it takes 8 months for them to complete is amazing. I got a lot of hit or miss stuff with some of these companies. Feedback with Amiibo and with Lego Dimensions. Abe said that it just was it was there, but maybe lackluster. It wasn't as prominent, but I've heard very little negative stuff regarding Disney Infinity. Maybe the most was that it was too crowded over there, but that's what you have to
Well, it was the most
expect.
busiest. Well, it was the most busiest E3 of all time. I think there was something like 50, 60,000 people there because they opened it up to all these social. I think each game could bring in hundreds of people. You multiply that by all the games, and just in general, gaming is big business. So there's a lot more people into it. So yeah, so that was one thing. But yeah, it was one of the most popular. Was the most populated E3 show they've ever done.
Yeah, and props to Disney Infinity for bringing in the influencers. I talked to a couple of them after the event. They had an amazing time. Each of them got a Rise of the Republic playset at their special gift. They had a special meetup. So that was pretty cool. I also heard that I guess Kanye West was in the booth. I'm not saying that I'm a big fan of Kanye, but that just speaks to the level of people.
Superman was there as well.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Or now Atom.
Right, or someone said Superman. But it just I heard nothing but, aside from the few random weird comments, most of it was just positive from the booth. A lot of great experiences, both from the staff and from the guests that were there. It's promising. I'm excited for what they will show at San Diego. I know Abe and I are going to have a blast at D23, and we don't even know half of what they're going to have at D23. JV just said it's something big, and being that D23 is the middle of August, and rumor has it that the game is coming out somewhere around that time frame. I mean,
yeah.
Without actually saying the date, we have to timestamp it to around that area. I'm just excited on what's to come. 3.0 is so much more than what I was expecting. It's so much different than what 2.0 was and what 1.0 was. So they just keep on wowing me, in my opinion. So
I mean, looking at I think also this year, in terms of E3, there wasn't a lot of announcements at the event other than Boba Fett and the Saga starter set. There wasn't any major announcements, so that was a bit of a surprise. But in some ways, it wasn't, because in the weeks running up to E3, they were hitting out press release, Rebels, Twilight, Inside Out. They were sending out all the information ahead, all their pre-events. So before E3, we knew a lot of it. So a lot of it was a case of getting hands-on for people, getting to see gameplay footage, getting to find out a little bit more. Because now they can kind of move on from those initial announcements. There wasn't as many new things announced that I thought there might have been. I thought there might have been, but at the same time, I've been following so many different websites for E3 news that I can see why they do that, because there is just, if you put out a press release or a story, you will get buried on these sort of gaming websites, because there is that much information coming out. Kingdom Hearts, it come out, but within a day you wouldn't even seen anything on a lot of the websites because there was that much information coming out about it. And so it made a lot of sense to me looking at it, of why they did all that pre-E3 push.
Well, also I think it also plays into the fact that last year there was a big debacle because they unfortunately gave out materials that leaked characters, and Abe can attest that any character on that packaging that they gave out this time around has been officially announced. So I think that's part of it.
Let me double check.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you showed it. I quickly glanced when you showed me Darth Maul's back packaging and made sure everything was announced, but Boba Fett was the last thing on that back packaging that had to be announced.
Yeah, it's right there.
Now, we still don't know release dates for a lot of those. We know that Boba Fett's coming out in 2016, but again, I think they strategically threw out a bunch of information at us before E3, so they didn't have that, oh crap, we just previewed the Guardians of the Galaxy characters by giving out power disc packs, which is what happened
also,
last year.
Last year they tried a different approach of that, kind of trying to spread out those character announcements and everything, and this year they kind of definitely went with a different approach of just trying to get as much out as everything, like launched kind of, the initial. I'm gonna be saying, I'm feeling that it's gonna be like the Disney Wave 1 and the Star Wars Wave 1 and 2 kind of thing, because I think there's gonna be waves this year, because we still got lots to know about, but I think I'm looking at it like, well, last year we only had 3 play sets. Well, we already know the 3 play sets. We've seen them, we've played them, they're out there, and then we've got more to come on top. So I think that's why there's so much more excitement this year. So Abe, anything else that your sort of overall impressions of the show?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were able to sort of play like Battlefronts. How does that compare?
That's dude, get out of my head. That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was gonna say Battlefront, like, no joke. Aside from Disney Infinity 3.0, Battlefront, like, best in show, no joke. They had 2 demos. One was a 2-player co-op, and the other demo was a 20-on-20 battle. So it was 40 people fighting against each other. I did not do the 20 versus 20 because the line was ridiculous, but the 2-person co-op, there was a short line inside the Sony station, inside E3, and then they also had a pop-up station outside of E3 with no wait, so I got to play a few times, because of course, who wasn't? And wow. Yeah. It was fun. I got to play with one of our members on the Facebook group, and he him and I, we teamed up on the first round, and there's basically 6 waves of enemies coming at you, and you're talking about from regular stormtroopers to shock troopers to ATSTs, and the gameplay is phenomenal. The weapons, the jetpacks, the shield. I mean, everything was responsive very well. You get bonuses for headshots. I mean, the realism of your weapon would overheat. You know, you got to make sure you use it perfectly, strategically. And they hit a home run with this game. It's a lot of fun. I couldn't get enough of it. I immediately reserved it when I got home.
You didn't have it reserved yet?
No, only reason why I didn't reserve it was I wanted to wait and see if they had one of those like collector's editions with like a statue or something like that. But once I played it, I'm like, screw this, I gotta reserve it.
Please tell me you reserved it at GameStop.
Yes, GameStop, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, no, it's ridiculous not to reserve it at GameStop because you get the early access and special stuff.
Oh no, yeah, from Star Wars Celebration, that I know. I needed to reserve it as soon as possible for that alone, but I wanted to wait just in case there was a special edition or something. And I think the only thing that's out is just the deluxe edition that comes with the extra DLC, like a Han's blaster and some other stuff.
But also, I was going to say, with now that they've got like 2 Star Wars games coming out for 2 completely different audiences this year. You know, we've got the Infinity side and Battlefront. They're very, very different. And even this was with the PlayStation conference. Was, you know, there were so completely different sides of the sort of spectrum in terms of gaming. You know, trying to compare them isn't necessarily a fair thing, but they do look very, very different.
Well, it's kind of like the new logo that says "The Force is strong with PlayStation," because it's true. I mean, they definitely have a lot of exclusives and specifically Star Wars, and I'm telling you, Battlefront looks just night and day compared to any Battlefront I've ever played. A lot of fun, and definitely something to have before the next movie comes out.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's cool. So I think it's just one of the things that we were just kind of trying to wrap up the E3 event, really, is just in general. I think it felt like, you know, there was lots and lots of information coming out, lots of things, and looking at, I think as well with the Disney Infinity booth, with having the fans in, having that huge booth. Because I mean, some of the other games, you know, I think was it like Lego Avengers hardly had any space at all, because they're just sharing the Warner Brothers stage. Is that right?
Yeah, it was a small little stage, and I got to play that too. It's fun. It definitely has a new combat modes where like you have like 3 different Avengers with you at the same time, and you can perform combat combos. Like you can throw Black Widow around as Captain America, or Hawkeye will shoot the arrows off the shield. It's interesting. So it's cool, but yeah, it did have a little small cramped spot. And Warner Brothers, actually, the Warner Brothers games had more room for the Mad Max game, if anything. They were sharing. It was Lego Dimensions Theater, the Mad Max Theater, and then they had the little Avengers in a little corner in the back. So it was kind of interesting, but no, that game was cool too. I got to try some virtual reality stuff, you know, nothing to do with Disney, and that was pretty impressive. But yeah, Avengers is a cool game too. It's just I'm not as crazy about it as I thought I would be after playing it, but because I feel like it's so like dated. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think as well with the Lego thing. I think because Lego Dimensions is kind of coming in and kind of taking all the push kind of thing. It almost feels like this could maybe be one of the last sort of traditional Lego games we get before it. But you know, looking at E3 as a whole, that Disney Infinity just was a very strong presence and a very good way of getting out that information to everyone. And you know, a big thank you for being there and sort of covering all of that information for us.
Yeah, thank you. No, yeah, I still have a couple other stories to put up, but most of the grunt work is done. I believe one of the directors of Big Hero 6 was at the Disney Infinity booth as well and checking it out, and I managed to get some pictures, so I should put those up as well.
Okay.
And I was able to catch JV also trying out Skylanders, and the guy was smiling, so you can tell he's a lover of video games. So cool stuff.
It makes sense to test to see what the other people are doing. You know. I know that in business myself. You go and check out your competition. It's part of being in business. You don't ignore them. Okay.
Yeah, I don't even think he sees them as competition. I think he sees them, because he has good friends there. So yeah, it's cool.
Okay, Travis, you want to add anything before we close off for the day?
Not for me. E3. I mean, I saw enough to know that I'm going to be not having much time after you include Infinity 3.0 and Battlefront.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, LEGO Dimensions probably will not get purchased for a while. One, it's too expensive, and two, I just not going to have the time.
Yeah. Well, you're actually going to be heading off to the Disney Holiday Showcase on Wednesday, aren't you? That should hopefully see a little bit of Disney stuff in New York.
Yeah. Disney puts on a holiday showcase showing off the stuff from Disney consumer products, Disney Interactive, a whole bunch of other companies, Disney Worldwide Publishing, all the stuff that's coming up in the fall into the holiday season, and I will be there Wednesday morning. So hopefully I can report back Wednesday or Thursday. I do know that Disney Infinity will be there. What capacity they'll be there, I don't know. I'm looking forward to getting some hands-on with the games. I'm glad Abe can experience the kind of casual conversational chat that I usually have with JV at events like this. He got it on video. I suck at recording video, so my stuff is usually just random stuff. But if you guys have any questions that were not answered this past week at E3, and you would like to for me to try to get answers, if JV's there, if it's someone else, I honestly don't know who's going to be there. Just leave a comment below, and we'll make sure to try to get answers to questions that are not too evasive, or I know that are going to get the "Why are you asking me this?" look, which I've gotten in the past. So I kind of know what to not ask him, like what's coming, because they'll just tell us when they know. So.
Yeah. Right. Okay, I think that pretty much wraps up this week's show. Big thank you to Abe for joining me as usual, and also Travis there in New York. So big thank you for all of this. I'm going to let everyone head off, and that's pretty much going to wrap it up. Remember, you can check us out at DisKingdom.com. You can also subscribe, find us on Twitter, you can find us on Patreon, and all the other bits. Oh, and another little rub in the face of,
I hate you, man. You smelling Darth Maul.
I just wanted to see if I smelled some force in there somewhere.
Okay, yeah.
I wanted to give you some forced perspective.
Oh, that means it's really late at night for him and really early in the morning for me.
I'm so exhausted.
Okay, guys, I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up, and we shall see you guys all in a later episode.
Laters.
Laters.